with a fife in hand. Come to Melly Stream, it's a cozy land. Princess Amelia bringing cheer. Cattleman's wisdom always near. Melly Stream, where the good vibes flow. Lena and Mandy stealing the show. Mandy can't get enough. Meet Tom and Mad Hog passing digital love. Chatter fills the air in a warm embrace. A digital gathering, a special place.
Late.
Laughs with a wink and a smile on the screen.
Nah.
The quirkiest crew you've ever seen. Melly Stream, where the good vibes flow. Lena and Mandy stealing the show. Mandy can't get enough. Meet Tom and Mad Hog passing digital love. Find your corner, feel the scene. It's a universe crafted in caffeine. Moments shared and stories spun. Every day is a new kind of fun. Melly Stream, where the good vibes flow. Lena and Mandy stealing the show. Mandy can't get enough. Meet Tom and Mad Hog passing digital.
Do you change the rank on the mug regularly? No.
Find your corner, feel the scene. It's a universe crafted in caffeine.
It would be funny if you did for every Tony.
Every day is a new kind of fun.
I'm now like 46th or something.
Where the good vibes flow.
Sad.
Lena and Mandy stealing the show.
Oh, so you're false advertising.
Mandy can't
Carmen
get
let me
enough.
down.
Meet Tom and
Blame her.
Mad Hog passing digital
Not that far off from 41st. But don't cause she's sweet.
Let her scatter like a broken hand spilling wine. Melly writes like she's losing her damn mind. Typos crawl across the page like bugs at night. Plot holes drag us down into the end.
Also boy. Are her arms like aloe vera? Why think?
Caps lock screams and question marks that bleed.
No is to have you here, Sophia Muller.
Ideas run wild but they never take the lead. Sentence stumble drunk on misspelled pride. Melly laughs, says it's rolling time, it won't hide. It's so messed up, it don't make no sense. Cracks in the walls, words jump the fence. We're swimming in chaos, drinking every line.
It's always a pleasure.
Who cares? It's writin time.
The animated Melanie is essential.
Pages full like fists, punching at the dark. Clock's on fire, no aim, just a failed spark. Characters lost in circles they can't climb. Melly just shrugs, says it's writin time. The red pen's dead, the rules don't apply. Crossed out truths wear the mask of a lie. Grammar cries, but we keep writing blind. Melly howls, this is how we find the blind.
It's funny, without me keeping it around, you might have not had such a fun toy.
We're swimming in chaos, drinking every lie. Melly says who cares? It's writing time.
When this binge showing?
I'm showing. Hang on. Yeah, my camera wasn't
Just
working.
got her manager in chat.
Oh. Yeah. Is me
LOL,
then.
ad.
Hi. Oh. What? There's an ad going? Well, I'm sorry about that. I'm not looking my best today. I could have put on some makeup, but I didn't. Anyway. I have a new tale for you tonight.
Seeing talking in thumbnail thing but I opinoy. And double ad.
Well, the ad's over. Can I read you my story now?
Yeah.
Hey. So, are the ads over? Can I do my book now? Oh, Princess Emilia! You're in the chat. Hello. Wow! Oh, we got so many people tonight.
You were.
Okay, well. So this is the tale of Molly. Molly...
Triple ad.
No, stop it! Molly is a very special person. She's 13 years old. And her life is about to change.
Quadruple.
Forever.
Duode. Twitch, stop.
I need to deactivate them ads somehow. I don't know how. So I'm just gonna...
Finally back.
Okay, I'm just gonna start reading the thing. Okay? You guys just... Okay, right. This is a really bad idea. I'm doing like a face
What
stream
that
thing
on your
tonight.
floor?
Hmm? What do you mean?
I sit a mess.
No, it's not a mess. This isn't a mess. It looks fine. What are you talking about? Like, you mean that over there?
Melly always messy.
I'm not. Oh my god. It's
Messy,
just-
messy Melly.
No. It's a Stephen King novel that I got from the library. A biomedical science
Hee
magazine.
hee.
That's not messy. You shush. Oh, you mean the bottle? There is a Coca-Cola bottle by my bed. But don't pay attention to that. Oh, okay, let's get some music on the go. Hang on.
There's even a pizza on the ceiling.
There is not
So
a pizza
messy.
on the ceiling. Nuh-uh. Anyway, Are you guys ready for this story? Shall I begin?
You say story like a Canadian.
Sorry. Well, I'm sorry. Hi. So you ready for the story or not? Are you listening? Okay, here we go.
Maybe.
There are nights when the sea...
What if it's a no?
Oh my godness. Oh my godness. There are nights when the sea is still and the winds are calm. You might hear it. The whisper. You wouldn't be the first and you certainly won't be the last. The whisper is ancient and as powerful as it is mysterious. All hear it eventually. Some answer it eagerly while others run from it, from themselves and their destiny. But still it goes on. Between and beneath the silence, the whisper remained. Molly could hear the whisper that night, and it was to her like a symphony of promises, echoing in the dark shadows of the ocean. She was on a ship, charted for the heart of the unknown. The whisper sought Molly that night, and she sought it. The whisper of adventure. But how had Molly, daughter of a tailor, found herself charting her course across the foaming, roiling seas? Well, Molly McBride's story begins far from all that, in the smallest and quietest and most unremarkable town of Red Rock. One December evening, a stranger visited her town, changing her world and her life forever. The night was windy as a strong north wind shook the trees and made moans as it seeped through the boards of the houses. Molly sat in front of the fire, warm and crackling. Molly was 13. She was fairly tall for her age and rocked her spindly legs as she lay on her stomach and arms, staring into the hearth. She was at just the right distance where she could appreciate the full warmth of the blaze and only burn her face slightly. Carefully, she pulled a needle out of her dress and sat cross-legged, resuming her work on her cross-stitch. Without warning, there was a pounding on the door. She dropped the needle and got to her feet. It was almost 10 o'clock and her aunt wouldn't be back until the morning. Fear consumed...
Well, it's melody time.
Hey, yo. There's a pounding at the door.
You look like a doctor.
You stop it. There's a story to be told around that, but we'll get back to that. Okay, just forewarning, I wrote fear like 3 times because I think I started writing this and then I stopped and then I started and then I stopped. So fear is going to be like mentioned 3 times in this. But anyway, fear consumed her as she feared. Who could be at the door at this time of night and pounding the frame with such fearful force? I know, I'm gonna fix it, okay? Just slowly she
Melody
made her way.
Dickens, MD. The MD stands for Melody Dickens.
That's right, I could be MD. Mandy.
So
Oh my
we
god.
fought Molly. Where did Wendy go?
Anyway, slowly she made her way to the door, taking care not to let the stranger hear her footsteps, though the wind was far louder than her footfalls could have been on this night. All the same, she continued her approach cautiously.
There's Wendy.
Cautiously, as the unending pounding continued. As she grew near, there came a cry from beyond the door. Please, I beg you, let me in. It's after me, the horrid creature. I haven't much time. Molly stood frozen, unsure of what to do. When her parents had left, when her aunt had left, I've orphaned her in rewrites, but anyway, had left. I know, horrible thing for me to do, but hey ho. Perhaps he would leave, deciding that there was no one at home and try another house, she hoped. I know someone's in there. I saw your fire from the road. So much for that, she thought. Working up her courage, Molly responded, I can't let you in. I'm sorry, sir. After a short pause, as the banging ceased, the voice came once more. You're a child. Then that is it for me. It will find me. There is no more time. Sir, what is after you that scares you so? The fearsome creature, child. A thing with a head of smoke and eyes like lamps. But none of that matters now, for my life will soon be over. What matters is my efforts to have not been for nothing. A slip of paper passed under the door.
The child is a fearsome creature, IMO.
A slip of paper passed under the door, and Molly jumped back as if it were some poisonous insect about to bite her. Child, take this to the shipwright, Jeremiah. You will find a shop in town. Grant this the last wish of a dying man. But sir, I don't understand. How are you? Before Molly could finish, there was a dreadful noise that pierced through the wind like a knife through silk. It was a terrible
There's
sound.
only one thing worse than a murderer.
What?
Is this meant for elementary to middle school kids?
Yeah. So it's kind of scary, but it's not like super duper scary, you know? It was a terrible sound like the scream of a
child.
A thousand nails scraping, piercing a piece of slate. Then silence. Not just the hideous sound, but the wind too. It was as if Molly had gone deaf. She tapped her ear and looked out of the frosted pane. The storm had subsided, and now she was listening intently. Even the sound of the fire could be heard in the other room. She knew she shouldn't open the door, and feared if she did, it would prove to be some horrible trick. But who could control the weather? Curiosity overcame her as she picked up the heavy iron key and opened the door slowly. She grabbed the paper the man had left as she did so, then looked out into the empty night. Whoever had been there was
Key
no
tiny,
longer.
why heavy?
What? Because it's made of like metal. It just. There was nothing to prove anyone had been there in the first place, save the scrap of paper folded in Molly's hand. Parchment was blank, as far as Molly could tell,
Noodle arm bench.
except for a strange mark at the bottom of it. It looked squiggly, like calligraphy, but in a language that Molly didn't understand. The paper was old, but still sharp at the edges. What was so important about it, and where had the stranger gone? Had the creature, as he had called it, got him? What was that sound? So many questions raced through Molly's head. The temperature in the hallway began to drop. She closed the door, locked it once more. He had said Jeremiah the shipwright would know what to do. Resigning herself to a mostly sleepless night, she decided she would make some excuse to her aunt tomorrow and make her way there. As she folded the parchment, she cut her finger on the sharp edge. Small droplets of blood stained the page.
Read
then-
Molly Bloom next.
And then something remarkable happened. The stain disappeared into the paper.
Sharp edge of parchment.
Yeah. And soon it was as if it had never been stained at all. Molly held the parchment in disbelief. I'll change it to paper if parchment can't be sharp. Whatever. It's important.
Wait. Molly is a hallucinogen. Is this a drug parable?
Right. I'm starting to lose my patience with you, though. Okay? You can listen to this story or not. She would soon come to realize that this would be nothing compared to the wonder she would witness on the journey she had unknowingly begun. And then there's a little picture of this because I went to Hartlepool Quay and they had some stamps and I was like, ooh, it's about pirates and stuff, so I'll put a stamp in my book. Yeah.
Next, give her a bee gun.
No. Molly's aunt returned in the early morning. Molly told her she would head to the port to get supplies. To the little protest. It pained her to lie to her aunt like that. But the way she saw it, it wasn't really a lie. She would get supplies, and if her route so happened to take a quick detour to the shipwrights, so be it. She walked the cobbles to the shorefront, passing tailors, the chandler's store, a gunsmith's, a sign hung outside the stationer's. The great elements of modern civilization, gunpowder, the printing press, and religion. She liked the printing press bits, she thought. Finally, she reached the shipwrights, Jeremiah Finch and Son, shipbuilders. Thumbing the parchment in her dress pocket, she nervously entered, drawing the attention of several passers-by. What in the world was a small child doing, going into a shipwright's? This thought also came across the shipwright himself, looking up from his desk. He placed his quill in his ink pot and capped it. Can I help you, young madame? Molly was a little flustered, as she'd never been in a shipwright's before. A large ship design lay on parchment 3 forearms lengths long. Strange, plier-like tools littered the bookcases that circled the room, stacks of papers and small models of ships she recognized. It was, to Molly, like a cross between a library and a toy shop. Young madame, the portly gentleman asked, once more removing his small round glasses. Molly, sir. I'm the tailor's daughter. Ah, so it'd be your father I should thank for the thread that's used for my sails.
Modern libraries are already a cross between a library and a toy shop.
Yes. Molly is gonna say something about how, oh no, my dad died and stuff, but again, that's in the rewrite. Molly was still taking in her surroundings. There was a large painting on the wall of 2 galleons locked in combat, smoking. It made Molly, I feel like this music's not the best. Hang on. This is way too jazzy. I feel like we need some, like, nautical kind of stuff on. Give me a second. I'll find something. Let's see.
Do you like jazz?
1800s music, relaxing for stories, no copyright, please. Maybe we can get away with this. If not, it'll be copyrighted, in which case...
Do you think
consider
Barry
yourself
B.
lucky.
Benson likes jazz because of the buzz?
Okay, I can do with this. Cool, right, okay. Molly was still taking in the surroundings. There was a large painting on the wall of 2 galleons locked in fierce combat, smoking. It made Molly feel fear, excitement, and curiosity all at once.
Or is he just after the honeys? Do you know what George Lucas called
Yes,
space
I know
jazz?
what it's called, Mito Tamatan. Let me read my story. Let me tell you my tale. Oof. Okay. I've been asked to bring you something. The shipwrights.
Melly Furry confirmed.
The shipwright beckoned her in, and she went to him. And produced the parchment. A design, the shipwright mused. Not quite, Molly responded. In fact, I'm not quite sure what it is. The only thing on it is this. No sooner had the shipwright seen the mark, his demeanor changed, becoming cold and fearful. How did you come by this, child? A man.
It's a McMuffin.
He was rough. He was running from something. Was at my door last night, then wasn't. He left only this and told me to bring it to you. The shipwright calmed himself. I shall make this very simple for you. Hand it to me and let it never trouble you again. Something in Molly stirred, a feeling inside her that told her no, the parchment had come into her possession, hadn't it? It was a strange sensation, like a whisper. However, another part of her did want to be rid of it, and for it all to be done then and there. What will you do with it? And more to the point, what is it? You owe me that much, if I am to simply hand over this thing. The shipwright was taken aback, and had not expected such forthrightness to come out of a child so young.
Damn dirty shipwrights, with their curves.
Molly had to admit that she was a little surprised herself. It's a cursed thing.
She talking a bit like an adult. Oh, you intended that.
Yeah. It's a cursed thing, Jeremiah spoke slowly and with intention. Misfortune befalls those that keep it. Then why should you want it? She asked, pushing her luck. So that you don't suffer the thing when it makes its pact. Trust me, if what you say is true, the previous owner is most certainly dead. Those words lingered with Molly for a moment. A part of her had hoped that there was some other explanation to the stranger's disappearance. Having the shipwright say it outright concluded her doubts. Suddenly, and it hit her just as fast. And if the owner is dead, we have a brief amount of time to destroy that wretched thing before a new owner is chosen. Molly thought for a moment, but trusted him and gave it to him, on the condition she would be able to witness its destruction. The shipwright, agreeing to the arrangement, gently placed the paper on the hearth. He then, like a hearth plate, like a grill. I need to rewrite that. He then weighted it down with 2 measuring weights. He then produced a small vial filled with a black substance from his desk. Gunpowder. This thing was made from the void with substances found in the 4 corners of the earth, and it is with this that we shall send it back. He spread the dust evenly over the parchment, as if he were flouring a baking surface. Molly feared an errant spark from the fire might set off the thing early, hurting Jeremiah, but he finished his work and stood back, pulling a solitary match from his pocket. He struck it and threw it at the thing, threw the thing towards it. When the smoke had cleared, there was a loud bang, and when the smoke had cleared, there was the parchment perfectly in one piece, untouched. One piece. Dun, 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 dun. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. No, we're not doing that. Shh, calm down, Oda. Anyway, no, Jeremiah muttered
They
to
got to
himself.
throw it into Mount Doom.
No, because, I wanted to show that it couldn't be destroyed, and that's so hard to do without ripping off Lord of the Rings, so I'm like, I don't know, gunpowder. It's about, like, sailors and stuff. It's the 1870s. Let's have some fun. Fireplaces
Give
in.
her 8 companions.
He turned to Molly. You're certain no other person has taken possession of this between the man at your doorstep and you? Molly shook her head.
And a year-long journey.
10 weeks, thank you. We live in an age of science, not the Shire. This is 1870. The king country, or queen. I need to check that. Anyway, I don't understand. How can it have found a new owner already? There couldn't have been a new blood oath made. Molly stirred. Blood oath? To seal the parchment with its new owner upon the death of its previous one, a blood oath is made, like the signing of a contract, though it's consecrated instead with a drop of blood. Molly held up her finger, still sporting the accidental wound from the previous evening. You mean like a paper cut? Oh God. Jeremiah sat in his chair and rubbed his balding forehead. You are its new owner. I didn't want to be, Molly protested. It was an accident. That can't
And then
possibly
he stabbed
count.
her.
Jeremiah simply gazed at the parchment before saying, a contract is a contract, and blood is blood.
No, first invent several fictional languages.
He drummed his fingers across his lower face, and then started talking to himself, as if he were trying to solve a riddle. If we have it, he'll agree. It's what he wanted that daft ship for in the first place, and he will agree. probably try and talk me into going with him. But owner and parchment must go together. Sir, are you alright? Jeremiah was snapped out of his stream of consciousness. Yes, young Molly, was it? Molly. He took a moment to compose his thoughts. Now that you are the parchment's owner, you are in danger. There are those that wish to have what has fallen into your possession by sheer happenstance. You mentioned you live with your aunt, correct? Molly gave him... She has not. I need to rewrite that, but yeah. Molly gave him a sharp nod. You must go straight home to your aunt's. Take the parchment with you. Otherwise, it will try and reunite itself with you. By any means. And that can get a bit messy. But sir, you said I was in danger. What do I do? You stay at your aunt's. I will contact my associates. He said the last word, as if he were not friends by any reasonable choice of his own. Yes, he will know what to do. And we will return for you in the morning. Here. He passed her a scrap of paper. Write your address here, and we shall be with you tomorrow. Molly scrawled her address with the shipwright's pen. She had one last question.
You should name this McMuffin Charlie.
She had one last question.
Because it bit her finger.
Ow, Charlie! The parchment bit my finger, Charlie! No, but before, where was I? A question was weighing on her head, on her mind, as she had to ask. You say misfortune befalls the owner of the parchment. What kind of misfortune? The shipwright replaced the quill in the ink pots. As he studied the address before answering her, Molly, there are things in this world that defy...
She'll never get good parking.
There are things in this world that defy explanation. The sudden ending of the storm came to Molly's mind, and the empty doorstep, and the creature with a head of smoke and lamp-like eyes. We now choose to live in a world of enlightenment. We comfort ourselves believing science can explain away the ghouls and the ghosts that go
Everything she
bump in the
buys
night.
goes on sale the next day.
Where it only obscures the dark, hides us from it. We ignore them and they ignore us. The moment your blood touched that thing, you became a beacon, Molly, for the things that hide in the darkness. Which brings me to my last piece of advice. Whatever you hear or see this night, do not venture into the darkness. Molly felt this had to be some sort of trick. Jeremiah's face remained stern and steadfast, showing her he was deadly serious. Nodding once, she replied, I won't, sir. I'll return to my aunt's house and stay there until the morning. Very good. Jeremiah picked the perfectly pristine parchment and handed it back to her. I must ready myself for my journey to the doctor's house. My associate, please.
Very
Excuse
Red
me.
Riding Hood of her.
Molly. Chapter 4. Molly returned to her aunt's house. After fetching the supplies and waited there until the second evening. Her aunt had built another fire on the hearth, but saw in Molly's expression that something was troubling her. What's wrong, Moll? Molly looked at the living room window, half expecting something to come crashing through at any moment. Auntie, she took a moment. Do you believe in ghosts and spirits? Her Aunt Sophie looked at her with a puzzled look. What's brought this on? She asked. Just do you believe in them is all? Aunt Sophie thought for a moment and answered, in my youth, I might have said no. Well, a load of silly hogwash. Now I am old, I find myself believing in a great many impossible things. Why ask me these things, Molly? A spark came back to her aunt's eyes, as if she had been somewhere else entirely for a moment.
This story is good and I enjoy it.
Thank you. Molly found herself at a loss of what to say, and how to explain the recent events that had transpired. Without sounding completely mad, That is to say, I think I may be under a curse, Auntie. And I have reason to believe there are malevolent...
Well, I think it needs more cowbell.
There are malevolent things that wish to do me harm. Her aunt, remarkably, did not chastise her for being so silly or childish as Molly had expected, but simply gave a nod as she got up from her chair and made her way to the small kitchen. "What are you doing, Auntie?" She returned holding a jar of salt, smiling at Molly. "If there is something after you, and I'm not saying I believe it is, but if there is, this is a little trick my auntie taught me." Her aunt spent the rest of the evening forming a small circle of unbroken salt around the entire house, and then in front of each doorway she told Molly as they went in it was well known throughout the world that salt had a purifying and protective power, and that should anything with malevolent intent try
I've
and
got a
gain
jar of
entry-
sour. I've got a jar of sour, and guess what's inside it?
They would find it quite impossible, as it would be for a person to walk through a wall. Molly was now in bed, a small hay-stuffed thing, but it was comfortable all the same. She found it hard to sleep. Visions of ghouls and ghosts and curses and mysteries swam around her thoughts like a school of fish. She desperately wanted to dismiss it all, but the memory of her blood disappearing into the page remained irrational.
What era is this supposed to
unreasonable.
take place?
1870. The hour approached 3 in the morning. That's when she heard the noise. It was faint at first.
Whoop, as.
She wasn't. Okay. Is everyone back after the ads? Let me know.
1970.
1870. Go. How am I gonna get on a big silent ship in 1970? Just. 1870 is important because the Suez Canal has just been finished in 1869, which connects the Mediterranean Sea to India. Sorry, I was just saying that 1870 is important because 1869 is when the Suez Canal is
Nice.
connected, and finally the Mediterranean is connected straight to India, which makes a 10-year voyage. I'm giving a little bit of spoilers there, but anyway. The hour approached 3 o'clock in the morning. That's when she heard the noise. It was faint at first, and she wasn't certain it hadn't been the wind. But then, there was the wind. But then again, there was the wind, sounding on top of it. The moan was too human. If the noise that, if the noise that spirited the stranger away was a scraping noise, this was a wail. A melancholic wail, like the scream for the loss of a loved one. Molly found her eyes filling with tears, as if on some level she held an understanding of the sadness, an empathy with it. As the moaning wail grew louder, her pity for it turned to fear quickly. She cautiously looked out of the window. For a while, nothing, and then there, in the distance, making their way over the hills towards the house, she saw a figure, pale and white. Molly was frozen, unable to look away, hoping this was all some sort of terrible nightmare, but still continued its approach. And then I accidentally missed a page. Don't worry about it. Okay. As it got closer, Molly could see more of its features. It was like a woman in a very old linen, hair pouring over her face from her bonnet, masking her face, save for the mouth, the source of that bone-chilling sound. Molly thought of running, but where would she go? And that hadn't helped the gentleman last night. Besides, her aunt had put on a protection on the house. Would it hold? In her mind, even now, it was still a little skeptical, begging her to believe that there was a rational explanation, but her heart knew better. The wail felt deafening.
She should Google what to do in this situation. 3.
Ha 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 ha. That's what I did when there was a banging on the door at 3 o'clock. Very funny, Jessie. How had her aunt not been woken? The figure approached the salt line, and Molly held her breath. The creature tilted its head.
They didn't
looking
have
at her.
Google in 1970.
1870. Looked at it, slowing, extending a hand, or at least what resembled a hand. There was a flash like gunpowder from the like the gunpowder explosion from the day before.
1972. Time travel. Duh.
It recoiled, retreating by letting out an even deeper wail, pain now mixed with loss. It stood there for a moment, stumped, it seemed. Then, to Molly's horror, the wind picked up, breaking the salt line. The creature approximated something close to a grin as it made its way through the opening and towards the house. Molly decided it was time to move. She bolted from her bed, running for her aunt's room. Once she was there, she pounded on the door. The door flew open. "What's wrong, Moll?" Molly struggled to catch her breath. "Something. Coming. The soul's circle broken." Her aunt gave her a frustrated look. "This is my own fault. I shouldn't have encouraged it." Her aunt was cut off by a scream and banging on the door.
Just the other day I had to Bingle something because neither Bing nor Google had the results I needed, so I had to go to a future where they merged and got good.
Good. Is there a motto, "Don't be evil this time, we swear"? But anyway, her aunt, what in the world? Her aunt made her way to the window. Molly watched as the blood drained from her aunt's face when she gazed upon what waited at the door beneath. Another scream, another bang on the door, just as Molly had been so... another bang on the door? No, that doesn't
No,
make
it
any
says
sense.
eat cake and Bingle yourself.
Just as Molly had been, so too her Aunt froze, watching the white-haired woman scratching through the flashes at the door. The something stopped, as if it were... Oh, sorry, the figure stopped as if it were aware that it was being watched. In a sudden jerking motion, it snapped its head up, revealing its blood-red eyes, looking at Molly's aunt, squaring hers. Slowly, it edged from the door to the ivy bracing, and to Aunt Sophie's horror, began ascending its way up the house. "The windows, Molly, we forgot the windows. Quickly, get the salt. There's still some time left." Her aunt was old and couldn't move as fast as Molly. She ran to the staircase and slid down the banister, something her aunt would have normally reprimanded her for, but it hardly mattered now. The creature would soon be past the threshold, and there was precious
Quick,
little time.
Molly. Install Linux.
Windows, no. As she reached
Make
the kitchen.
super salty saline solution and FLL a super soaker.
Well, they did have those in 1870. And in her haste, almost set the salt jar flying. Managing to catch it, she held it like an infant with both hands and ran back to the hall.
Just use those older water gun tubes.
She could see her aunt making her way down as fast as she could. There was a shattering sound as the scream got louder. Whatever it was now inside the house. Her aunt was still only halfway down the stairs. As the clattering grew louder, accompanied by the horrid scream. Racing up the stairs, Molly juggled the salts while aiding her aunt down. As they reached the floor, the creature crashed through onto the landing, her hair wild and terrifyingly white as the driven snow, its eyes darting before resting on Molly. It was as if the shipwright had said, possessed and inexplicably now drawn to her. "What is it?" Molly asked, in shadow breath. Her aunt mustered a weak, trembling response. It's the Banshee. Use the salt. Make a circle around us.
How do you drive snow?
Yeah, I don't know. Molly wasted no time as the creature raced along the stairs. She had to be quick but precise. Too small a circle and they had no chance to stay inside it while leaving but to spread it too wide, too fast, and the salt would run out, leaving the circle broken. Time was quickly running out as the creature, mere meters away, closed in at terrifying speed. The circle would not be finished in time. Then an idea struck Molly. What if, judging in a matter of seconds, she took a handful of the remaining salt and cast it at the beast, the beastly apparition, which was within arm's reach. The same black powder flame ignited on contact.
Pocket salt.
Yeah, on contact. As it slashed at her aunt, striking her cheek, as the Banshee recoiled. Molly had bought just enough time, with just enough salt, to finish the
It's
circle.
super effective.
Oh yeah. Molly and her aunt crouched within the circle. Her aunt clutching the wound in her cheek, left by the Banshee. The Banshee circled the two of them, wailing and screaming, but to no avail. Before the wind had broken the circle, but the salt's line here would remain unbroken. It tried to claw at it, producing spurts and flourishes of gunpowder explosions as it did. Then, with one final cry, retreated into the shadows. Molly and her aunt waited for the longest night it seemed to finally break, as sunlight banished the Banshee to the darkness from which it came. Once it was over, her aunt simply looked at Molly and said, "You had better
Well,
start explaining yourself, young lady. Just what have you gotten yourself into?" Chapter 5. The morning came groggily. In fact, should we have a little break before this final scene so I can get some coffee and you guys can have like a little, you know? Okay, I'll have a break. We'll have a break. Okay, I'll be
I just
right
summoned the
back.
devil, Auntie.
It was your paper guy. I didn't
Nothing
mean
major.
to. Okay, I'll be right back. We'll be right back.
It's not the devil, it's just a Banshee.
Okay, has everybody had their little comfort break? Yeah? Cool. Right. Let's get back into it. The morning came groggily to Molly and her aunt. As Molly had recounted the events, Molly even ventured to try some coffee for the first time. It was too bitter, despite its enticing aroma, and brought Molly close to vomiting. That is, if she had dared to eat anything that morning. Both she and her aunt found they had little to no appetite following the events they had been through. The cut on her aunt's cheek proved it hadn't been imagined. It was clear Molly was no longer safe in the world of rationality. "So when will this shipwright and his friend arrive, Moll?" her aunt asked, wishing to change the subject from ghouls and ghosts to something more positive. "I don't know, Auntie. He simply said he'd come in the morning." "I wonder what they intend by their visit." No sooner had she asked this than there was a knock at the door. "Speak of the devil?" She caught the sudden terror-stricken expression on her niece's face by her careless choice of words. On second thought, let's not. She was reassured by that, but still sat on the small wooden table, sleep-deprived, as white as the banshee, as her aunt went to answer the door. A thick Scottish accent reverberated straight through the hall and into the kitchen. Hello and good morning. You are the wee lassie's aunt, I assume. Unless
Archings.
my associate has got the details wrong. I am, Aunt Sophie said. Please, can you help her? Well, that's a wee bit of a complicated matter. I couldn't trouble you for a spot of tea, could I? I'm also quite eager to see the child that's finally found my map. Map? Molly thought to herself. Is that what it was? She suddenly felt reinvigorated with a curious energy, and something appeared from behind the kitchen door. 1 lump or two, she said, finding she had no idea what else to say. Jeremiah was with the mystery man. They both talked with her and her aunt and Molly. He told her of the parchment's origin. A decree from King Solomon, or Suleiman. Solomon himself. Or Solomon, I believe the original pronunciation was, before the English do, well, what they do. Both a guide and permission for his vizier to take back what belonged to him. A confused look spread across Molly's face. The man quotes it. A vizier is a sort of advisor, a second in command, you can. Another look of confusion. You know. Molly understood this time and signified with a nod. So the king gave him the same parchment that you now have in your hands. And with it, I hope you'll agree to help me find what it leads to. Molly had remained somewhat quiet throughout the conversation, but as it had progressed, she felt her shy nature fall away. When you say help you, help how? And what does it lead to? The man smiled, recognizing something in her eyes, a type of spark. To help, you would have to come with me on a 10-week journey to the ends of the earth, as for what lies at the end. Sure. What did I say? At the end? There's something. As for what lies at the end, some say it's treasures and valuables. But it's also said there is something even more valuable than all the riches of the earth. The prospect tantalized Molly, but she had to put her foot down. Sir, I don't even know your name. The man seemed oddly aware of himself for a moment, and then reassured himself. My goodness, you're absolutely right. I just come in here and start rambling about ghouls and goblins and ghosts, and I haven't even introduced myself. Captain Sullivan, a pleasure. You don't look like a captain, said Molly. Moll. Her aunt chastised her a little. Captain Sullivan raised his head, dismissing it. That's quite all right, Miss Tandem. A lot of people say that, Molly. He turned to her. What exactly does a captain look like, young Molly? A powdered wig, brass buttons up to their neck? I don't think any of that matters. Traditional hoo-ha. That's what I say. A captain has one job and one job only, to see his duty is done, and above all, to ensure the safe passage and well-being of his crew, or her crew. The addition of her at the end made both Molly and her aunt smile. Captain Sullivan continued, As such, your well-being comes to mind. As I said, the promise of that parchment's destination has been my heart's desire for the best part of a decade. But I cannot force you to help me. It's your choice, young Molly. The owner and the parchment must go together. So it's up to you. If you should choose to stay, I'll respect that. Though it pains me, it is your choice. From your aunt. From what I see of your aunt, she does seem quite knowledgeable and capable. A keen guardian to keep you safe. Molly looked at her aunt, and then at the cut on her cheek. If, on the other hand, you should choose to go with us on a journey to the east, I promise you no harm will come to you under my watch, and the things you will see will make your soul take flight. Molly, in the silence, felt that feeling, the whisper. She looked to her aunt, as if seeking her permission. She gave a look that told her it was her decision to make, not hers. So, what'll it be, young Molly? A smile spread across her face. Aye, aye, Captain. And yeah, I don't have any more. I'm sorry. That's the end of the story for now. I'm really sorry. Ah! Did you like it so far?
Aye, Captain.
Aye. Cabin girl. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with
This
it.
is very Munchausen.
No, it is not. You take that back. I will not take this insult, Jesse. Shush. But yeah,
UE.
you really like it. Because it's sort of, it's a love letter to a lot of things. It's a love letter to sort of Treasure Island, you know, ghost stories, 1001 Tales, and because they're going to be charting their way through. In fact, let me take off me and let me pull up a map. Right, let's see.
Can't wait till she reaches the Antipodes.
Oh, the Antipodes! I'm sure Captain Sullivan will say that in a lovely voice. Incidentally, Captain Sullivan is named after a trans man that was a doctor in the it was either the Merchant Navy or the Royal Navy. Because I thought that's kind of cool. But yeah, let me see. Sorry, I'm trying to find. I'm not having much luck. I'm trying to find. Maybe if I just
You
bring
look
up.
like a gotter.
Shiz. Right. So okay. So here we go. So this is going to be their voyage. So they're going to come off. So they're in the coast town here. Either there or they're in the south of Ireland. But I think they're in the, you know, somewhere like wherever this is. Plymouth, is it? I don't know. Anyway, it's just my own country. But yeah, they're going to come down here and go through the Strait of Gibraltar. And then past the Mediterranean islands. And so, you know where they started off, obviously.
What is this? Some kind of odyssey?
Well, no, but that's exactly it, right? Hang on. Are you seeing this right? I don't know. Yeah, you can see it. Okay, I'll hide that. But that's exactly it. Since they encountered like these spookums and stuff from the English Isles, you know, they're gonna face like sea monsters on the coast of France, like the French sea monsters, and then they're gonna come through the Strait of Gibraltar, maybe some Spanish folklore, and then as they're moving through the Mediterranean islands, they are going to encounter the sirens, and because Molly's the only girl on board, she's the only one not affected by their song, and so she has to kind of like, yeah. Somehow get them out of that. I've not figured that bit out. But yeah, then they're going to go to the Suez Canal, which had been completed in 1870. and then through into the Indian Ocean towards the Egypt, Arabia,
And the Isle of Spoke.
Saudi Arabia, India, Arabia, and Egyptian, so like a block, which is where the 1001 Tales come from. So yeah, what do you think? Cool little story, right? I wanted to make it scary, but not so scary that kids couldn't enjoy it. But I mean, I suck at like writing scary things for adults anyway. But yeah.
But isn't the Suez Canal in Egypt?
Yes, but that's the whole block, right? It's
Hey,
an entry
Melly.
point. Hello. It goes from the Mediterranean Ocean.
How are you?
I'm okay. The Mediterranean Ocean into the Indian Ocean. So in 1870, suddenly a several-month-long trip to the east is now only 10 weeks by sea.
Sometimes I can still hear his voice.
Actually, no, Mad Hawk can come in handy. You just missed my tale of Molly McBride and her adventures on the high seas, to go to the ends of the earth to find the last gin, sealed away by King Solomon all those years ago. But her voyage is in 1870, Mad Hawk. So the Suez Canal is completed, and it will take 10 weeks to get from England by going through the Mediterranean, through the Suez, and into the Indian Ocean.
Hope you're doing well. I have horrible internet today, but I'll try to watch the stream.
Well, Mad Hawk, I need your advice. So I need some like monsters and things that they can encounter on their way while they're going through the Mediterranean Ocean. So I mean, you're Italian. I know you don't have a lot of mythology or nothing, but you got anything for me? What would be a cool? Maybe a lesser known sea beast, sea creature. Obviously the sirens, that goes without saying, but like, you got any ideas?
They had only just invented Italy in 1870. Sure.
Well, Mad Hog, like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna take a puff of a vape in ocean.
You could make an unnamed sea monster that is the exact description of the spaghetti monster. You want a big, scary, dogfish. Akin to the one in Pinocchio.
I like that a lot. Also, Captain Sullivan is going to be played by David Tennant. This is non-negotiable in the movie. I want to see David Tennant, and I want to sit next to him and eat a donut with him.
Or a catfish.
Can't you just imagine? So like David Tennant as like a sea captain. And he's like, "Young Molly, come on now, we're gonna." And yeah, gender politics is gonna
or some other kind of animal fish.
So gender
Alternatively, the Odyssey has a lot of good sea monsters. Birdfish.
So gender politics is going to play a part in it, right? Because Molly's going to be the only girl on board. And there are cabin boys still in 1870. And there's going to be like friction there, but maybe one of them is like a friend, but the other boys are like, they're little boys, right? So they might try and make her journey, you know, miserable. But she has a lot of, you know, skills as the daughter of a tailor. Skills that are vital on a ship, like being able to fix sails after a monster
Superstition. Is Molly really the only girl on board? Or does a cabin boy have a secret?
Well,
Wait. Melly pulling a Jacob Grimm.
Captain Sullivan doesn't care for such superstitious hogwash.
Making a tailor protagonist.
But no. So yeah. Captain Sullivan's a man of science, so he doesn't care. And of course, the only way that Molly would not be the owner anymore is if she were to die, which he's also not going to let happen. Right? So, they're going to journey there to the gin.
Captain Sullivan is a man of science. He even washes his hands.
Yes, they vaccination and everything. But here's the thing, right? So, at the end of the story, actually, no, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to tell you. It's really good though, because I would like you to think, what is Captain Sullivan's wish? What could a man so accomplished, so venerated, a doctor, a captain of industry and the sea, what would he wish for? Anyway, I'll let you think about that.
Doubloons. Obviously he wishes for the one thing all men wish for.
Yes? Which
Transition.
Okay, so maybe don't spoil my ending. But okay, no, you kind of guessed it. Yeah, so Captain Sullivan will be a trans man the entire time. Hence the name and the homage to Lou Sullivan, the real sailor doctor trans man, right? However,
and a really good pair of socks.
However, Molly is gonna point out he was under the spell of the sirens, which proves
to disprove the existence of God. If undead people are involved, he could be a man of chance. Ad break. 1:30.
Okay, you back? Are you guys back?
Chance is the Scottish pronunciation.
You guys back? Anyway, I think it's time for some unusual memes. You guys have been a terrific audience for me. Well, that's what some unusual memes. Why not have Jojo White Golly? Let's see. Okay, give me a second, give me a second, give me a second. None of that. No more of that. This video is gonna get so demonetized. Hang on. Me. Copy this. We'll go here. Uh-oh. No, we'll go here. Okay, hang on. Let me just shrink myself down. That's not me. Wait, what's me? Is this me? Is this me? Is this me? Is that me? Is that me? Is this me? That's me. Oh yeah. Hang on, hang on. No. Oh,
Melody, you can't shrink yourself down anymore. You're already super small.
Well, you know. Okay. Let me just get Melly out of the way. Hang on. Melly, move. Good girl. Okay, you go there. Cool. Right. Let me just plunk this here. And let's do a hidden display capture there. Oh, almost perfect. Okay, it's unusual memes time. A kitty eating the pancake.
我在外面这么多年，什么唯一有的就是这帮。
你去哪买的鬼？
Automatisch, also Fliegen und andere Tiere, hoppla, haben gar keine
Yeah, that was cool. Oh, that's your arm.
Alright, well, why don't I quickly go bang off this pocket shot so we can free up Richard and the other camera. You guys set up this.
Hola, permiso. Yeah, me voy, me voy.
They call me cornbread here because my husband was eating cornbread when I shot him.
Wow, that was impressive.
He had it coming.
Oh my god, what was the context of that? Why was Nigel Farage there? Looking at a Chinese dragon.
Do it again. Do it again.
Aww, so
Face it
cute.
towards the sky, not towards the cameras.
Upside down?
Upside down. I've done it twice. You should have been watching. I wasn't watching.
Oh my god! She's gonna get hit. She's so gonna get hit. She's gonna get hit. She gonna... Oh, well, a little bump there.
Beluga whales do not have any vocal cords.
Ghosts.
Absolute precision parking. Precision.
He was so proud of himself as well. What? What in the... Oh. No, I think I need to be in the oven a little longer.
3, 2, 1. Please start.
Chicken rice.
Geese flying a V. You know, one side is longer than the other one. You know why that is? It's got more geese on it.
He's got more geese. I mean, the man's speaking truth. Whoa. He's a waste of a ball and what? I want to say pineapple is pumpkin. Sorry. Oh, the food! Oh, it's rickshaw. Are they called rickshaws?
This shit creepy as hell, bro. Remind me of them little
Evil
games
cats.
you pretend and then they start moving and shit. Oh no, he a statue.
Yee.
Oh shit! Oh, what the? Oh, get it? Okay.
Oh, this has happened. That's happened to me with my car. I've got a convertible, and that totally happens. Like a wandering whirlwind will just come into your car, and if you've not taken the rubbish out of the car, like say you've got a crisp packet or something, it'll just go shoo and straight out the car, and then you feel really bad, and it's like, I'm sorry. You know, like in Mario, it's like I'm like throwing bananas and stuff, and it's like, I should say I don't have an expensive convertible.
What the?
Oscar is very old. I got him for £1,600, by golly. He's quite old and bits are falling off him, but it's a convertible, damn it. Yeah. He's my Oscar. He also overheats when idling sometimes, but that's okay. I got him for £1,600. Fluffy cow.
Calabaza. Estoy grabando. Puta madre, no funciona.
This is a band. Smashing Pumpkins. No. That was a bad joke. I feel ashamed of myself. I'm sorry. I'll quit the internet forever now. Nice. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, okay.
They are you. Uranus, 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 Uranus.
What is happening?
Uranus.
Okay. Thank you. I'll think about that.
The house is on fire. There's smoke and there's flame. How much time do you think you have?
Family? Get out of there!
Smashing pumpkins into small piles of putrid debris. If you know, you know.
Okay, that was funny. Hi. Hello. Yeah.
Petit déjeuner sympa ce dimanche.
Ah, salut. Et voilà.
Homer Simpson, smiling politely.
They're all sides. Oh no, I missed the message. Hang on. Wait. Go back. Hey. You see? All sides. Anyways, getting late. Oh, that's a bit of a centrist message, but okay. Well, that's what we're leaving it with this week. I hope you liked it. And next week, maybe I'll be me. Maybe I'll be Blonde Melly. Maybe I'll be Smoke Monster Melly from that episode. From that time that I did Lost that one time. Who knows? But I tell you what, there'll be more story. There's always more stories here. And I think with that, I should probably put on this song.
Maybe Dr. Melly Dickens, MD.
Maybe. Maybe indeed. Oh yeah, there was one last story. So, a month ago, when I went to see my sister, this is not the most inspiring visuals. Hang on, let me just. So yeah, when I went to see my sister, there was a person in the hospital who said you look like a doctor.
Nice to see you.
And I thought it was weird, but then a week ago, I was visiting my sister during her surgery, and there was another person who said you look like a doctor. Anyway, on my way back on that night, I stopped at a petrol station that was off of the main road because the A1 was shut, and the A1 is like our main motorway. Well, arterial road, kind of. It is confusing. But we've only got one road in Britain. Anyway, it's like Canada that way. But it's close, so I needed to go on a detour, and then I ended up in a petrol station. This lovely old lady, and she gave me a chocolate bar and a coffee, and she gave it to me for free, right? And then as I was leaving, she just said, "You look like a doctor," and it's like, what does this mean? Why is the universe trying to send me this message? Anyway, I'll leave you on that, and I love you all, and thank you so much for listening to my rambly tales. I've got a coffee stain on my book already, oh dear. Okay, well, I love you all, and you better...
Doctors and teachers dress alike.
That's true.
We love you too, Melly.
Love you all. Have a really good evening, and this is where I am going to leave you.
You better work.
Okay, I will.
I think she's gone.